Okay, so let's ask and find the answer to this question. Where is the Elder Scrolls 6 going to be set? And in order to do this, I've looked at the trailer quite a lot, and I've also looked at a map of Tamriel. And if we get up a map of Tamriel, we can see that it looks a bit weird. You know, it's all a bit off, it's a bit weird, like I've said before. But what we need to do to work out where this is actually, set, is you just need to rule out a set of provinces immediately. And we can do this by just looking at the recent games Bethesda themselves have released, not ZeniMax, which is different because they have actually released an Elder Scrolls game, but Bethesda. And in the last 3 Elder Scrolls games, Bethesda has done Skyrim, Cyrodiil, and Morrowind. So we can just black out those 3 provinces altogether. And it's important also to know that I think Elder Scrolls 6 will be done on a province basis, as that's what they've done pretty much since Morrowind, which is by definition, or not by definition, but is in reality the start of modern Elder Scrolls. Of course, Morrowind was actually just the island of Vardenfell, and not the entire province, but, better hardware. And now we need to look at the trailer. And if we look at the trailer, we get this lovely picture of the ocean. And if we can judge correctly, we can see where the sun's rays are coming from. This puts the sun in the east. And we know from Elder Scrolls V that the sun in the Elder Scrolls rises in the east. This means that unless for some reason they are having it so that the trailer has the sun at sunset, I messed up words, roll with it. This means that it would be in Black Marsh. This next picture I've made has highlighted everything in red as where it could be. However, if we look at Black Marsh from the wiki, you can see that the majority of this province is a swampy marshland, with the southern half resembling a network of small islands. Now, we don't really see a bunch of small islands in the picture we have, which is, which is a good indicator that it's not, as well as the fact that the climate in the trailer is very arid, and while there are some forests, it's not that much, and would not be marshes, which is what Black Marsh, obviously by the name, would be. So we can rule out Black Marsh. If we look at the red picture again, you can see we also have Valenwood. And if we get up the Valenwood Wikipedia page, we can see that it's largely uninhabited forest wilds, and the coasts are dominated by mangrove swamps and subtropical rainforests. And again, if we look at the picture, there's not mangroves or subterranean whatever's. It's just not. It's arid. So again, we can rule out that. This means we are taken down to Hammerfell, High Rock, and the Somerset Isles. And now these are all completely, they all make sense. So what I've done, as you can see, is I've loaded up what I believe are the 2 possible game maps. Because if it's going to be just Hammerfell, it won't be just Hammerfell, I feel, because it's shaped a bit weirdly. And the same can be said with High Rock. High Rock is done in such an odd way, the way it's, set out, that it can't really work as just an individual game. It's too long, it's too weirdly shaped. As such, I think it'll be both Hammerfell and High Rock, or the Somerset Isles. Isles is plural. And also it's a lot easier and makes a lot more sense just to have an island by itself and not the surrounding mainland, as we can see in Morrowind. As such, there's 2 possibilities. And let's look at the one I believe to be least possible, which is Somerset. And Somerset does have rugged mountains all over the coast, and also rolling hills, which is what we do pretty much see. However, let's look at what Alinor looks like, which is the city, or a city on the west coast of Philadelphia, of Somerset Isles, which would be on the same coast as the picture of the coast we got in the video. And if we look at Alinor in this picture, you can see Elvish architecture is really pointy, and it's not what we see in the trailer, which means that we are left with Hammerfell and High Rock. And if we look at the Hammerfell geography, we can see that it does have mountains on it, but what we really get is that if we look at the High Rock one, we can see that it's, big sort of Norwegian style fjords and hills and crags and villages and towns with grim fortifications. And the important thing is that in the past these castles were the domains of many petty kings and lords that ruled the massive patchwork of small nations that used to make up High Rock. Many of these fortresses are now in ruins, which, if we look at the trailer, we see a fortress that looks to be in ruins. As such, I am very certain that the Elder Scrolls 6 will take place in High Rock and Hammerfell. Not either, but both. And I can say, looking at a map of High Rock, and I believe it is High Rock because it's far more, it's got a lot more coast on the west, which makes a lot more sense for the sun to be setting. Or did I fuck up massively? We'll find out. Someone can call me out if I make no sense with what I'm doing. But I can happily say that I believe the trailer is set near the city of Camlorn, which means that in the Elder Scrolls 6 we have the following amount of nations. We have High Rock, we have Hammerfell, and we also have Orsinium, which is sort of the Israel of the Elder Scrolls, in which there's been now 4 Orsiniums, and the orcs try and settle down, but then they get pillaged by other people who believe their land is rightfully theirs. Oy vey. So yeah, that's what I believe the Elder Scrolls 6 will be placed, and also the 3, not 2, the 3 nations that will be in the Elder Scrolls 6. Thanks for listening and watching. I just need to check to see if my math of the sun was right. Arrivederci.